Glen Smith is Chief Investment Officer at GDS Wealth Management. Hi, Glen. I want to start right away to market reaction to what the Fed chair had to say.
I'm probably going to be a little bit different than most, but I think today market being down has less to do with the investigation into the Fed and more so with what President Trump spoke about in terms of capping out interest rates on mortgages at 10%. I think that's a little bit more why the market's jittery. In terms of what's going on with the Fed, I think this is just a little political theater going on. This is nothing new in terms of political theater. We've had 3 rate cuts last year. We think we will get rate cuts this year. Fed Powell is going to do the best he can. At the end of the day, he will no longer be chairman after the month of May of 2026.
Do you think this is going to hurt the division between the Fed chair and politics? Remember, this is a position that's supposed to exist outside of politics, but it's certainly become politicized.
I think the way the news cycle is nowadays, things get blown out of proportion. President Trump says he didn't know anything about it. It was the Department of Justice. Again, I don't think this is going to have a major impact. It'll be old news in the coming weeks. Candidly, this could be an opportunity if it creates more volatility in the market. But we don't think this is going to change what Powell does, and we don't think he's going to be leaving before the month of May. So it's just a little high-stakes drama.
And what does that mean for any potential new Fed chair that will come in after Mr. Powell?
I think a new Fed chair at this point, will know what they're getting into. They're going to do a mandate what they think is best for the population of the United States. That being said, if they want to keep the market going, they're probably going to have to keep rates lower. We have inflation having come down a ton. We were at 9% not too long ago. We're in the mid-2s. There's a lot of justification out there, I think, for lower rates. So I think the Fed, whoever is the next Fed chairman, they need to be on their toes and do the best they can, as Powell has, but to be constantly watching the ball.
Now, I want to move to oil prices now. They are up, and I'm wondering, what do you think was behind that?
I think oil right now is in an interesting spot. We're low historically, and it's going to be interesting what President Trump talked about in terms of getting the big oil companies, the ExxonMobils, the Chevrons, invest $100 billion in Venezuela, which is going to be a tough sell. I think right now oil is in a trading range, which is great for inflation, as we were talking about earlier, because it keeps inflation low. Energy is the main aspect of inflation. And we think it's just in a trading bound range at this point.
Glen Smith, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.